Hello guys, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Alright guys, so we have a follow-up here to the ongoing situation that involves SpaceX, T-Mobile, at&t, Dish Network, Omnispace, and a few others. So what's been going on is T-Mobile and SpaceX are trying to provide a service that would enable supplemental coverage from space. Alright, at&t, Dish Network, Omnispace, and a few others are trying to block T-Mobile and SpaceX from doing this. There's a concern that T-Mobile's supplemental coverage from space would interfere with what's already being done from at&t and Dish Network. And then Omnispace has their own agenda here, it looks like. They're trying to move into a similar space as T-Mobile. So, the FCC pretty much argues and agrees that maybe Omnispace is just trying to block T-Mobile out of caution to keep the path clear for them. Basically, is where we see this coming from as well. So their opinion is kind of biased, in my opinion. They're just looking to basically elevate their own game, Omnispace. So we can take what they say lightly. But I do agree with at&t, and at&t's already been successful with their process here. They've already made the initial call, testing was done, and they've had great success. So the concern is that T-Mobile will come in and interfere with what is being done. They feel T-Mobile should provide some accurate or actual results of what's going on with the supplemental coverage to ensure that they will not disrupt what at&t is already doing. So I get that. I get that 100%. I don't think that they have the right to tell T-Mobile that they can't do it, but arguably maybe T-Mobile should provide some kind of blueprint of how they plan to, do all this without it actually interfering with what's going on. They've said in a number of discussions how they plan to not do that, but it doesn't look like it's much more than just them saying that they won't interfere rather than providing some kind of evidence of how they plan to not interfere. So let's jump into this article. I will link it for you down below in the description in case you guys want to read it. So in a new filing with the FCC, T-Mobile and SpaceX provided some more details about how they plan to connect T-Mobile's customers to SpaceX's satellites. The move is noteworthy considering the companies are facing static from the likes of Omnispace, at&t, and Dish Network. SpaceX's modification of its second-generation satellite system to enable supplemental coverage from space would serve the public interest and advance the Commission's ambitious space agenda, the companies told several top FCC officials in a meeting last week. According to their recent filing, they urged regulators to approve plans by SpaceX to launch new satellites that would be able to send and receive communications from T-Mobile phones using the operator's PCS G-Block spectrum. SpaceX and T-Mobile agreed to technical limits for satellite operations that will protect T-Mobile's in-band PCS G-Block terrestrial operations. SpaceX and T-Mobile will continue to coordinate to enable efficient use of PCS spectrum in the public interest, the companies told the FCC. The issues that are concerned are raised in part by Omnispace that supplemental coverage from space, communications between T-Mobile customers, and SpaceX satellites would cause interference to nearby operations, potentially including Omnispace's operations. Importantly, Omnispace is hoping to offer its own such phone-to-satellite services via its own spectrum holdings. This is where we believe that they would benefit to any delays that come from T-Mobile's efforts with SpaceX. SpaceX's SCS operations will not cause interference to out-of-band satellite operations, SpaceX officials told the FCC last week. The company added it would continue to work with the National Science Foundation, the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and others to ensure its plans won't affect existing or planned operations. AT&T and Dish have raised concerns, of course, about T-Mobile and SpaceX efforts. AT&T, for example, argued earlier this year that T-Mobile and SpaceX haven't sufficiently provided the details necessary to convince regulators to allow them to move forward with their phone-to-satellite plans. AT&T, for its part, is pursuing almost exactly the same service via its own partnership with satellite operator at&t SpaceMobile. Interestingly, Globalstar and Iridium recently filed comments into the FCC's proceeding involving T-Mobile and SpaceX. The companies didn't directly offer an opinion on the topic, but argued that they are both pursuing similar offerings using their own satellite spectrum holdings. So AT&T, T-Mobile, Iridium, and others are chasing the direct-to-device opportunity. In FCC filings regarding the use of terrestrial spectrum for such services, players are now using the new SCS supplemental coverage from Space Initialism. Whatever the initialism, the technology promises to connect regular smartphones with satellite in a move that would essentially eliminate cellular dead zones. Initial services will likely only support emergency text messages, but future services, those relying on more and bigger satellites, could potentially support more services ranging from voice calling to high-speed video. The ramifications of such services are significant, considering that they could reduce or eliminate the need for cell towers in rural areas. So that's basically all the important stuff here. There's 2 more paragraphs which I don't feel are really necessary to discuss. Not really, a little bit off topic concerning the issue here. So there we have it, folks. This is basically what's happening. An ongoing issue, developing story. Any further information that we get, we will report back to you. But I'd like to know what you guys think about this situation. We've talked about it a little bit here on this channel a couple of times, at least 3 or 4 videos already regarding this over the last couple of months, about this ongoing issue. Do you think AT&T has the right to try to block T-Mobile and SpaceX from pursuing to enable supplemental coverage from space? Do you think AT&T has the right to ask for some kind of valid proof from T-Mobile and SpaceX that they will not interfere with what the work that has been done already? I partially do agree with that, just because if you're moving into that space and someone's already had some success, you should at least be able to offer the FCC some kind of plan of how, what your setup is going to be and the structuring of the whole process. What we hear in the article is how they'll continue to work with, the proper channels and, stay in contact. But we don't hear any mention of what they're going to be doing to avoid any disruption. So I don't know. I guess there will be a lot of testing, and I guess we'll find out if indeed they do get the go-ahead to proceed and continue with the operation. I guess we'll be updated on whether or not there's any interference. I'm sure AT&T will definitely raise concerns if that happens. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Do me a favor, if you like the news reports on this channel, just give us a like. Your support is definitely important, and it also lets us know that you guys like what we're doing. As always, I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching. It's much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.